3, 2, 1.
Hello everybody, welcome to Model Rockets 321 YouTube channel. This is a model rocketry site dedicated to the art and the science of model rockets and the fun that you can have with it. I've done this hobby for a very long time, starting probably around the age of 9. I got into it and I did it all the way up until high school and even beyond. I did take a break from it a little while, but I was always checking on the hobby and seeing what was available and what was out. And then I noticed when I finally came back strong to the hobby, high power rocketry was in. But that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about high power a little later. And as I got my certification, and the rockets got a lot bigger. But anyway, we're going to start you out with the basics. This is the intro video for the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll bring a lot of information, a lot of reviews. I'll do some unboxings. I'll show you some builds, some launches, and just various subjects. And I'm open for suggestions on different aspects of rocketry. And I want to, learn from you guys also, because I know there are people that have been doing it longer than me. Even though I've been doing it for several years, there's always something to be learned. So right now, I just want to cover the basics, the basic parts of a rocket. Most people know this is the basic kit right here. It's just 3 fins and a nose cone. This is the nose cone, as you probably know. These are the fins, and this is the engine mount with the engine hook. But this one don't have a separate engine mount because this is the same diameter as an engine. Like this is an 18mm engine, width-wise. This will fit perfectly inside this rocket. This is a perfect engine for this rocket. It's lightweight, small, and it will send it way up in the air. I usually launch this first just to check the direction of wind. This is the Quest Pipsqueak. It's actually a kit. It's out of production, but you may find one on eBay. It's just a fun rocket to fly with a streamer. It goes extremely high, so you got to keep an eye on it. And so yeah, back to it. And inside this rocket is the recovery system is a streamer, as I mentioned. In between the streamer, when you launch, there's a ejection charge that'll make the top pop off this rocket, which makes so you can recover it and fly it again. Inside the rocket goes recovery wadding. This material is a flame retardant material. It protects the recovery system from getting burned. So a lot of people always wondering, how did the top come off? But there's an ejection charge inside of the engine. Like after it does its thrust, there's a delay charge, and then there's an ejection that causes that action to happen. These are all good motors here. They're ready to go. So I'll just sit those back there. So that's just the basic of a rocket. You also have the launch lug, because I'll have a launch pad out one day, but this little tube, I don't know if you can see it. There's a small tube on the side of the rocket that it goes onto the launch pad. Then you'll hook up your engine, and also here's an igniter. I should have showed you that also. Engine goes in, igniter goes inside the engine, which is right here. I'm not going to put it in, but that goes in. You have electrical clips that'll hook onto here. That goes back to your controller. You do a countdown, make sure everything's safe, and you hit 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press the button, the rocket will launch. You get a coast phase, ejection charge, and the rocket will be heading back down to the ground. You can go get it and you can launch it again. They are reusable. But I always tell newcomers to keep an eye on the rocket, because people, when I was very young and I launched one, it was a small one, I lost it. I took my eye off of it and I couldn't find it in the sky. It came down on the ground, and people I was with, they didn't see it, I didn't see it. So that's how you can lose rockets. But when you become a veteran and you get better, you can spot them. So all of them don't go out of sight. Some of them will go way up, and if they're small, they'll disappear on you. So that's the intro. This is the introduction video. So I just want to show you some other things I have here. These are engines, different size engines. These are minis. This is the A103T, little small engines. These are standard 18mm engines. These are standard 24mm. This is the D12-7, which is kind of a bigger engine. This is the E12-4, a bigger one also. 24mm in diameter. Then you get to the bigger, this is high power stuff here. This is 29mm casing. And these are reloadable. You have to build the motor on site. You pour black powder in here. This is your ejection charge. A piece of tape goes over there, or a tape seal. And once this is, an igniter, similar igniter, but different. These are bigger. This is First Fire Junior igniters. These are bigger. This is high power stuff here. So this will launch the bigger rockets. These are RMS casings. These are reloadable motor systems by Aerotech. Keep the casing, and it's totally different. I'll get into those later though. So that's just a little information on engines. And here's another nose cone for scratch building. You glue this. This is just a nose cone, a plastic parachute. So this is, like I said, it's the introduction. And these are a couple rockets I built. These are all scratch built. None of these are kits. I gathered the parts. This is actually Mercury Redstone capsule. This is the Little Joe 1, the Mercury from the Mercury mission days. It's the Little Joe 2 from the Apollo mission days. I bought the capsule. I did all the detailing on this kit. Just to try to get it as accurate as possible. This is one of my favorites. Both of these are my favorites. And in the back, this is I call it pseudo scale because it's not based on a real rocket like these two. It's just fictional. Like I made up the design. I just gathered parts and I put this all together. It flies on a single engine. But these nozzles, I glued them in, but if I had left those unglued, it could fly on a cluster. I could have put many engines in these side tubes and had them all launched. It's a device called clip whip where you can hook up multiple engines. So this is just, like I said, just a pseudo scale. It's based on, it could be a real rocket, but it's not really. It's just something from my imagination. Actually, it was called the People's Space Corporation, here, PSC. That's what I came up with. I had like a file called like different, just another logo on there, as if they built the engines or collaborated in some way. Yeah, just did all the detailing. This is a fun kit to do. I like to get really detailed with some of the models I do, and then others I like to just keep it really simple. But these are just a couple of my favorites. So the channel, I'll be going over all types of rocketry stuff. Stay tuned. I will cover all types of tips, things I've learned. So yeah, just stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is Model Rockets 321. I appreciate you. Share the video.